Welcome to the next frontier where imagination, innovation, technology, and new ideas come together to radically revolutionize your quality of life and to change the world around us for the better. We have arrived. All right. So I am sitting here today with a dear friend and one of the loveliest people you could possibly imagine, the one, the only. You can't say the man, the myth, because you're not a man. The one, the only, Cynthia Kersey. And Cynthia, like we're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Please.
Seriously,
Please.
I adore you, and I do think you're just such a special person. I remember. So Cynthia has launched something called the Unstoppable Foundation. We're going to be talking about that throughout the course of this, and. When I knew you way back when.
That's true.
But it's true, yes. So you came for the world of personal development. You had written a couple of books. Unstoppable was the first one?
Unstoppable and Unstoppable Women.
Unstoppable Women.
Yeah.
And so you were in a field where you were doing public speaking and whatnot, and doing teaching. And I actually remember the decision point where, and what was the date of that? That was when you first decided to go and change things.
Well, when I the first time that I decided to start working philanthropic projects
Which is where she went. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, the first time is right after my book came out, 18 months after Unstoppable came out.
Do you remember what year that was?
It was when Unstoppable came out in 1998. So in 1999, in December, my husband of 20 years and I separated and got a divorce.
Okay.
So then I was, of course, grieving and...
So sometimes it's good to be stoppable, right? Because
these turning points are really critical.
Right, okay.
Because what happened was I talked to my mentor, Millard Fuller, who's the founder of Habitat for Humanity, and I told him what had happened. And he said, when you have a great pain in your life, you need a greater purpose. And even though I'd written my book, I was living my purpose, it was not bigger than my pain. And he had just gotten back from Nepal.
How beautiful is that?
And Yeah. And so he said, well, why don't you build a house for a family in need? And as I thought about what he said, I thought, how many houses would I need to build to offset this pain in my life?
What a question. What a great question. That's amazing.
Yeah. So he had just gotten back from Nepal, and he suggested that I build a house in Nepal, which was $2,000. And as I really contemplated that question, I thought, wow, 5 houses? I'd never done one. That wasn't even close. 10, 20. I get to the number 100 houses.
So you went through this process inside.
That's right.
And you thought, if I built 100,000 houses.
100 houses.
100. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. I don't mean to increase it. Okay.
Is a really big number.
100 houses that would. And by the way, there's a book title in there. I don't know. Is that Pain and Pain and Purpose?
It's beautiful.
Like you got to grab something with that.
I hear you. It's so powerful.
Because that's such a and I don't want to say too much about it right now because we're on air and I want you to grab it before somebody else grabs it. But there's something magical about that concept because it's so true.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And it really shifted everything because I went from focusing on my problems to once I got this project, it was like, I would wake up in the morning and, my eyes would be all swollen from crying. And I'd think about this project and these people that didn't even have a simple, decent place to live.
Right.
And that inspired me that year to get out there. And as I was speaking, I ended up raising $200,000. I went the very next holiday season, took 18 people to Nepal, and we worked on the first 3 of the 100 homes that were subsequently built.
Wow.
And that changed my life.
Wow. So this was in did you say 96?
It was 2000. It was
2000.
in 2000.
That was in 2000.
Yeah.
So that's 14 years ago, right?
Yeah.
15 if I do the math.
Yeah,
I never know what year we are.
January. Yeah. No, 15 years in January.
Yeah, 15 years in January. Wow. And so so this was kind of, it was running in tangent with your speaking business.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I was a brand new author.
Right.
And so I got tapped into the power of giving very early in my career.
Right.
So I started doing all sorts of other projects. And then my second book, Unstoppable Women, came out in 2005.
Yes.
And so I'm really looking for where's that next thing.
Right.
that would inspire
before
me.
you go into it, so Unstoppable Women, this was about what? Just it was.
Well, it was the next evolution of my book. Unstoppable was the qualities that it takes to be unstoppable. There were 7 characteristics, and how do you develop them in your life? The next step was more the unstoppable challenge, and I focused on women.
And how did you come by that? Did you just you looked at the stories of people, you broke them down and
Yeah.
reverse engineered the process?
Exactly.
And, okay.
Exactly.
All right.
So just looking at unstoppable people are driven by a purpose.
Yes.
They're energized by a passion.
Yes.
They're enabled by a belief.
Yes.
They're equipped by preparation. They are
Right.
strengthened by a team. They creatively solve problems, and they are renewed by perseverance.
Right.
So those were the 7 characteristics. And as I was coaching people, I really got people need, they can sometimes get the big picture, but then how do you take the big picture and chunk it down?
Right.
So Unstoppable Women is a 30-day program to help people chunk it down to what's that one thing.
What do I got to do today? Or
That's
what do I
right.
gotta,
What's
yeah,
that one thing you want to do, and then what's that one step that you need to integrate into your life every single day. So that was that work, and the book came out, and I'm really looking for this next inspiration. And out of the blue,
Yeah.
I got invited to go to a rural African women conference. The only thing I knew about this conference is that women from East Africa were going to come and share their stories with women from North America.
Okay. Now, where is
That's all
East
I know.
Africa? Is like
In
Nigeria
Kenya,
or Kenya?
In Kenya,
Okay.
Tanzania area.
Okay.
That's the only thing, Chris, that I knew about it, and
Right.
I felt inspired to go. So I, rearranged my schedule. I got a flight. I went over there, and these women, 400 women, imagine from rural Africa, coming from a place of inspiration and empowerment. I was blown away because
Now, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Where were these? The background of the women that were
Yeah.
coming. They were coming for what purpose
They
and from
were
what
coming
background?
to look for solutions. So they're women who are keeping their families alive by fetching water every day, fetching firewood, really doing the domestic chores that enable their family to survive.
So these
aren't
women-
career women. These are women who really can't afford to be gone.
And who was bringing them over?
So there was a woman who was creating a conference over there, and it somehow spread the word to all of the different neighboring communities and communities abroad, and these women just started coming.
And but did they raise the capital to do it? Was it an outside
they
entity?
did, yes,
Was
that's
it,
right.
okay,
So we who attended
Right.
paid money that would
So
enable
that they could come. Got it.
That's right. So if
Yeah.
it was like to get a bus or to pay for their food when they were there.
Right, whatever they needed.
Whatever they needed. And these are the bottom billion, so to speak. So they're living on, 40 cents to $1 a day. And Chris, I wrote a book on unstoppable people, and they were unstoppable. They were there looking for, help us get some solutions. How do we get access to clean water for our children? How do we treat our children who get these illnesses, because they don't have clean water? And the number one thing they said is, how do we get our kids an education? Because without it, this cycle of poverty will not end with them.
I'm with you.
Right.
You know what's so fascinating about that? Because I went to South Africa a couple of times, and I went to work with the first free university in South Africa. It was set up by a man by the name of Taddy Bletcher. So these guys, all the students were 17 years old, 18 years old. They had to prove hardship to get in. Half of them had lost their family to AIDS.
Yeah.
And it was tough for them to go to even school because they had to take care of their younger brothers and sisters. They had to play parents. And when we went in there, they were so fired up for education and they wanted it so badly. And Taddy said something interesting that weaves into what you're saying here. He said, South Africa isn't a poor country. He said, we're rich. We have diamonds. We have gold. He said, what's impoverished are people's minds. He says, you look at something like Tokyo, they don't have all the natural resources that we do.
That's true.
But it's the education. And so these women are coming out here, and they came to the United States.
No, we were in Kenya. So we were
you were
in Kenya.
in Kenya.
So we flew over there. Women from
Beautiful.
North
Okay, I thought there were a lot of
America.
expenses to get them over. No. Okay, so you went to Kenya.
We went to Kenya, yeah.
Well, it's more appropriate.
More cost effective.
Yeah, more cost effective, yeah. So you go to Kenya and you see this and tell what happens
And
there?
I fell in love with these women.
Yeah.
I totally fell in love with them. And I thought, I have to do something. I have no idea what I can do, but I'm going to do something.
Right.
I come home and I start doing some research and really get education is the key. It is the key of any type of service that we can provide to really make a difference in helping people lift themselves out of
frees
poverty.
the world.
It does.
Yeah.
It's like it's the answer to everything.
Yeah.
And so I
In fact, I just heard a text message go off, which usually we don't have on here, but that must have been somebody saying, yes, you're right. That is the key.
It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And so basically what happened was I was at my friend Debbie Ford. You probably remember
yes,
her.
I do remember Debbie.
And I was at her house, and she was telling me that her son, Bo, for his bar mitzvah,
Yeah.
instead of getting gifts, he was asking people to donate money to build a school in Uganda.
Right.
And I was laying down on her couch, and I literally sat up, and I thought, that's what I want to do for my birthday. I had my 50th birthday that was coming up.
50, come
7
on,
years
come
ago.
on,
Yeah, stop
come
it.
on, let's get real.
Yeah, right.
Don't,
Yeah,
none of
exactly.
these lies here.
Yeah, I know, it's a lie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought, I'm going to do this for my birthday.
Yeah.
I don't know. You probably, I know we knew each other
I know
then,
we
but
knew
I
each
don't
other.
think you
I
were
don't
at
know.
that
Like,
party.
I think I miss all your parties. I don't know how it happens.
It was at Shanghai Reds in the Marina Del Rey.
I used to wait tables there when I was 18.
No way.
Yeah, serious.
Oh my
It's not even
gosh.
Shanghai Reds now. It's like Whiskey
I
Reds.
know.
It's so sad that they changed the name.
And
But
it
anyway.
was such a great place.
Yeah.
But like Mark Victor Hansen and Bob
Yeah.
Proctor and all these people.
All the gang.
All the
Yeah.
gang. They
All
were
the
all
regulars.
There. That's right. And I raised $80,000 that night.
Right.
And we
Wow.
helped build 2 schools in Uganda. And Chris, it was another turning point in my life. I thought, if I could do this in one night at a little birthday party.
So you raised $80,000 in
$80,000.
one night.
And everybody said who attended, it was the most exciting, fun birthday party they'd ever attended, because it was something bigger than all of us. Like,
Right.
we were coming together in LA, having fun and knowing we were going to change the lives of children, in Uganda forever.
So now with these schools, they get how many kids would be?
So right now, because it's expanded since then.
Yeah.
So So in Uganda, I think we're supporting over 500 or 600 children a day.
A day.
Right. We're doing over 7,000 total. So we have a large presence in Kenya, which I'll talk about in a second.
Yeah. Okay. Please. Yeah.
So it's grown.
Yeah. No. Shoot. And the only reason why I have my laptop here, and shoot, the sound may have even come from that. But I'm looking at your website here, and I'm going, my God. I looked over for the time because I always watch the time because I got to be aware. But I'm looking at this website here, and you have done so much. I mean, this is now 15 years that you've been doing this stuff. And so it started out with...
With the foundation, I've been doing it really since my birthday party.
Okay, since that birthday party.
So it's really, this is our 6th annual gala.
Okay.
So I've been working the foundation for 7 years. I had the birthday party. I didn't do anything the following year, like a big party. And then I started the galas.
Okay, then you started the galas. And you only do this once a year?
Yeah, once a year.
Once a year you do a gala. But... and this is like I told you in the email, I said, I want to pour my efforts from a philanthropic perspective into you because, we had built a school in Peru for some children out there on one of the trips that we had done. And I remember, it was one of the most magical things.
Yeah,
we got hands-on, we raised some money. That's nothing like what you've done. Right now, you've built how many schools?
Over 70.
Over
70 primary schoolhouses.
So you can almost feel good. I'm joking. It was 100, right? That's a joke.
We did the 100 houses.
Oh, you did the 100 houses.
We're
so
now
okay.
way past
oh,
that.
We're beyond. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Please.
So old news.
Okay.
That was good, but it's not.
You did 70. How many houses did you build? You said
100 houses.
Okay,
and now
all right.
We're
So
like,
you can.
that was another project.
Okay, so you're beyond that
I feel
marriage.
great.
In fact, you're
I'm
married
happy.
again. You're fine. Yes, you put that behind you. You did your.
Yes, and I've got a new husband, and I'm yes.
Who's a wonderful man.
He's fabulous.
Yes.
But anyway,
and now you're focusing on the schools because you know
our
that
vision,
education is the way to heal the world.
That's right. Our vision is to see every child get access to an education.
Right.
Every child. And so we're focusing on those 57 million children who don't even go to primary school.
Right.
It's kind of like an emergency room where you're doing triage and you're looking at who needs our help the worst.
Yeah, who's about to...
That's right. And so the communities that we're working in the Masai Mara, they're living on 40 cents a day. They don't have access to clean water, electricity. Education is very, they're committed to education.
Right.
But they don't have the environment. The classrooms are kind of falling apart and the teachers aren't trained. So they're committed. And then we have partners on the ground that work with these communities. They vet the communities. And it's very much a partnership. It is not a handout. It is hand up, in which not only do we help build schools, provide, access to clean water and sanitation, healthcare, food and nutrition. The children get a healthy meal every single day. They have organic gardens at the schools where the entire community can eat and be nourished as a result of that.
Right.
And then the parents are taught how to generate an income so that the entire project is self-sustaining.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm serious.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. We got to take a break. We're gonna be right back. But I'm amazed by that, even that last part that you just threw in. So we'll take a break. Be right back.
Okay.
All right. So we're back, and this is you said that you're supplying so much for these
Right,
families. You've
right.
got the, you got all this stuff going on with the children. So you're building the schools. You're providing an education at the primary level where you're going. That's where the most urgent need is. You've got the part that just struck me as you last said it was that the parents are getting educated as well.
Right.
How to provide
Well,
an
this
income.
is the deal. When you go to a developing country, and there are a lot of great organizations that build schools, but guess what? If you don't address the obstacles that keep children out of schools, you go back in 5 years, those schools are empty.
Right.
So it really requires a holistic solution. So basically, like I said, we vet our partners, they work hand in hand with the families, and together they're working on helping lift the entire community out of extreme poverty. That's the goal.
That's amazing.
That's right. So basically it takes 5 years to implement this 5-pillar model.
Okay, so you put together a whole system.
It's a whole
this.
system. That's right. It's called Sponsor a Village, is the development model.
Where'd you get this development model? Was it something that was pre-existing with one of your?
So basically, I did some research on who's doing what.
Who's doing it best?
That's right. And the way that it really works is to be able to do all of those things at the same time.
Right.
So we found partners who really would work with us to implement this.
Yeah.
And we have communities now that we're already able to pull out of.
Yes.
So we help them, we invested in them, and we don't have to contribute financially to them anymore. They're able to sustain the entire community.
Right.
Which I think is fabulous. And what happens,
hold on a second.
Yeah.
So how many you've actually pulled out of some of the things
That's
you've set
right.
up?
We have one community, the Amori Joy. They are now completely self-sustaining.
So this is the first one?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And they're completely self-sustaining.
That's right.
Now, what happens after the primary school level?
So we've also helped fund 2 secondary schools because that's really critical as well. So basically what happened is in this particular area, only 18% of the children in the entire communities that we're working with were able to go on to secondary school or high school. And, 99% of those were boys.
Right.
So that's a critical next step because in those communities, when you get a high school diploma, it's like getting an MBA here. It makes such a difference for them to be able to get a good job.
And why 99% boys?
Well, because the reason is because they felt that the girls needed to stay home and do the domestic chores that really helped them to stay alive. So,
Got it.
And what happens as a result of that, they married the girls off at about age 12 because then they were looking for providers for those girls.
Right.
The challenge is that
is that part of the system?
It's part of the system that is changing now as a result of education because basically the communities are committing that they're going to keep their girls in school because now there's a possibility of a future for them and they're not marrying them off and allowing them to continue their education.
Well, it's almost, and as I hear that, you almost have to go, when you're in a critical position, what are the steps you need to take?
Right.
And do you think that was a necessary, with the knowledge you have, and you have far more knowledge about this than we do, you've done far more research.
Right.
With the knowledge you have, is that a necessary stepping stone in order to begin to get the foundation?
You mean the high school piece?
I mean the 99% boys coming through.
It's all of it. That's right. It's making opportunities for girls.
Because once they get the foundation, I guess the real question, to get to the real question is that a necessary stepping piece that the boys go first in order to get to the next stage where the education can be then available to girls, or is it not, in your opinion, after knowing everything you know?
I think education is critical for girls and boys.
We know that.
Yes. So, obviously, it was the way for those boys to get an education is they had to go away from their communities. There wasn't even a high school there.
Got it. No.
So they would send the boys away. Now we created 2 high schools for girls, boarding schools.
Right.
So the girls can also go to school. So now 50%
Yes.
of the children who graduate from primary school are now able to go to secondary school.
Got it.
Which, what that means is when a girl is educated, you know, the children stay healthier longer. She has a way to be able to create an income. It trickles down into every fabric of their society.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, I think it's absolutely amazing what you're doing. And there's like, and like I said, I rarely have a laptop between us, but I know that it doesn't do anything to the connection. We're connected at the universal level, man. We're good. But here, like, because I read on here someplace that you said it takes $1 a day
Yeah.
to
So the way that we have
Where
this
is that?
model, because it's
Yeah.
like, okay, we go into a community, let's say of 2,000 people.
Right.
And let's say it would take 8 to 10 schoolhouses to be
Yes.
able to educate all of these children.
Right.
So we break them down into, let's say, 10 sponsor a village programs.
Yes.
That's how we sell this.
Okay.
So a sponsor a village program provides a construction on a schoolhouse. It provides access to those other 4 pillars that we're talking about for an entire year.
And that's how much?
$25,000.
So for $25,000,
Yes.
you got that for an entire year. For how many people? That's for.
So let's say there's 2,000
whole
people, but
village.
it's all, but that's right. It takes 10 sponsor a village programs, right?
Okay.
To be able to make sure that that village gets all of those 5 pillars.
How many people are in a typical village?
Like, let's say 2,000.
Like 2,000.
Yeah.
You said, okay. You said it. I'm sorry if I'm a little slow on the.
No.
So there's 2,000 people there. Takes 10 sponsor a village programs, or in other
As an
words,
example, that's
as an
right.
example,
Yeah.
around $250,000, which breaks down to $25,000.
That's right.
Where
That's right.
donations
That's
from
right.
somewhere.
Yes.
Right. But how did you break it down to? It said someplace that it was $1
Oh, okay,
a
so you
day.
take $25,000,
Yeah.
and there's an average of 70 children per schoolhouse.
Okay.
That's $365,
Right.
or $1 a day.
to fund one child through.
That's right.
So in other
and get
words,
the access to all those pillars as well.
right. So you get there with a couple of ways. You get there by 10 people making a $25,000 donation, or by 250,000 people giving
That's right.
$1 a day.
$1, yeah.
Got it. And that takes care
Well,
of that.
$1 a day. It's really more like, it's
Or no, less than that.
it's less than that. That's
but divided
right,
by
'cause
365,
divided
right?
by 365.
Wow,
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
it's nothing.
Yeah, it really is nothing.
nothing.
And that's why I like that number, $1. It was like, oh
I
my
do too.
God, if you could get
$31 a month.
Yeah, if you could get
70 people to do $31 a month or $1 a day, that's a village. That's 21 grand.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Boy, you're quicker at math than I am
Well,
today,
I've said
especially
this once or
morning.
twice.
Yeah. Have you really?
I have.
So now I'm just looking at some of the results. It says that you produced here on your website. Once again, it says so your domestic outreach, education, and advocacy
Yeah,
programs.
yeah.
Over 50,000 people attended workshops
Yeah,
and keynote presentations
right.
about the power of giving and the vision of education for
So
every child.
basically, we have 2 pieces to our programming.
Mm-hmm.
The first is the domestic piece,
Right.
and it's really being an advocate for this vision of education for every child.
Right.
So I'm here talking about this. I travel all around the world.
This is how you spend your time, isn't it?
That's 100% of my time is doing this, really
Beautiful.
talking about it is possible that we can achieve this, and really giving people ways to plug into it.
Right.
The second piece is the international programming, the Sponsor a Village program, where we're actually implementing those villages, we're monitoring them, we're administering them, we're giving our donors reports twice a year so they can see
I saw that.
the progress, and they can
Which is
even come
critical,
and
right?
visit the kids. That's right. They can come to the communities. They can see the children and the lives that they're really transforming.
You know, one of the things when I was studying, because I did a 10-year modeling project on the billionaire mindset, and one of the things that Warren Buffett was doing was he was waiting for a good custodian for the
Yes,
wealth that he had,
right.
because there's so few people that know how to spend it wisely.
It's so true.
You know,
it's so true.
And so getting that feedback and closing that
Yeah.
feedback loop is critical, because
Yeah.
you know you see the people with the bells on the street corner. It's like, who am I giving my money
That's
to? Do you want
right.
to, but
That's right.
So you're getting feedback in terms of what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that the entrepreneurial mind
Mm-hmm.
is uniquely educated in a way to solve problems, and you brought that mind to this problem, and so you're able to attack it in a slightly different way than perhaps somebody that just started, was always on the charity front. So you've got the best of both worlds coming to
no,
attack
that's
the-
very
yeah.
true. And then the way in which I enroll people in the vision. So I'm a speaker,
Right.
and, an author. So I use those
This
skills.
girl knows how to sell. Yeah, but it's good. It's important. Shoot.
It is important.
If you're
I
not
can't
sold
think
on
of-
this, you're sold on something
That's
else. You're sold
right.
on eating ice cream, because that's
That's
another one
right.
of the things that I saw was that.
So this is a great statistic. So they say it costs about $11 to $15 billion to ensure every child gets access to an education for 1 year.
11 to
That might
15
sound
billion.
like a lot
Sounds
of
like a
money.
lot, right?
We spent twice that last year in the U.S. alone on ice cream.
On ice cream.
We spent 3 times that feeding our dogs and cats. We spent
I love my dogs,
4
so
times.
the ice cream
This
one really
isn't
hits
an
me.
either
Yeah.
or.
Yeah.
We spent 4 times on that trying to lose weight. And we spend 5 times on that on skin care.
Okay, wait a second. Okay, how 4 times? Now,
So we spent-
I got to go back to eating ice cream and losing
$30
weight,
billion, yeah, $30 billion a year on ice cream.
because those are directly
45
related.
Yeah, well, kind of, maybe yes, maybe no.
It is in my household to a certain
Well, we
degree.
love
to a
it.
certain degree. No, but eating ice cream and losing weight, we spend twice that on ice cream and 4 times that on
that's right.
trying to lose
That's
weight.
right.
That's the most ridiculous
And
thing
the
I've
key
ever
word
heard.
of that is trying.
Yeah, trying. Yes, exactly. It presupposes a lot of effort, and no results,
A lot
right?
of, it's like dealing with these first world issues. It's really
yeah.
a first world problem. It's not. So my point is, it's completely doable.
It's ridiculous.
It's
Yeah.
so doable.
Yeah. You almost had it's so
Frickin'.
We can say
doable.
doable.
It's
Yeah,
so
that's what.
frickin'
Yeah,
doable.
you
It
can
really
say that.
is,
That's
yeah.
that's legal here.
But I think that's the key thing of understanding we can solve these issues. I love what you said about entrepreneurs. Imagine using your business to actually solve problems in the world.
Right.
Bill Gates called it creative capitalism. You hear about conscious capitalism. My husband talks about compassionate capitalism.
Oh my God, there's all these new words. Yes.
This is the day and age where, let's not create a problem for the world by using our business.
Go throw some
Let's
gases
solve
in the
it.
air and
That's right.
sully
And the
the
way
oceans
people-
with oil and
Yeah. And
rip
the way-
people up instead.
Yeah, exactly. And the way a lot of organizations are doing that,
They're turning more
entrepreneurs-
green. There's a wave
That's right.
sweeping around the
and
planet.
they're partnering with organizations like mine. They
Yes.
don't want to go to Kenya. They don't want to do this, but they partner with us.
Yes.
And they're able to together. We're able to do a bigger impact.
Right.
I can't. I did a show yesterday, and she said, "Gosh, how do you feel?" I said, "I feel grateful. For
Right,
what we've
right.
done. I feel grateful and I feel humble because it's not by what I've done.
Yeah.
If you're not really supporting, and here you are helping me spread the word,
Right.
if I didn't have these extraordinary donors, nothing would be happening. So it is a partnership.
Yes. And isn't there a partnership for humanity or something? Isn't there already there's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what a great title. If there's not a pre-existing charity.
He's on a roll here.
Yeah, we're on a roll. We're on a roll. This is together. So what I'm looking at here is, and I mentioned to you this privately. I don't think we've said it here yet, but at one time I went and I built this school in Peru, and it felt really great. And we did some pin prick, and when I say that, pinprick, like efforts in different places. So we went and worked with in Cambodia with Friends International, helping get kids off the streets. They're doing really
so
great work
great,
out there.
yeah.
Went to Mongolia and worked with the Lotus Children's Orphanage. But when I say pinprick, it wasn't. I wanted to do so much more, and there's been so much more that I wanted to do. And I think that from a donation perspective. My thoughts have changed about, I used to think, do it, it doesn't matter from where the donation comes, from what space of mind, because people give for all sorts of different reasons.
That's
They
right.
give for prestige, for status, because their friends are doing it, because it makes them look greener, because it, but I think the true reward comes at this point in this stage in my development, from sharing just for sharing, for giving just for giving. And I know, we'll take it from wherever it comes, right? And, at one point, I had launched our charity and my name was on it. But it's like, when I think of giving at this point, it doesn't matter if it has my name on
Right,
it.
right,
If the funds are being channeled in the best possible way, and we're putting more good energy out into this quantum soup of pure potentiality that we're all living in, if we're putting more good out than we're putting any negativity out, then life is better and it feels good. I think the greatest reward comes from sharing for no purpose, not for the prestige or the status or and there was an interesting story about that I heard recently about somebody that had been giving all his life, actually everybody thought he was miser, that he was stingy, really stingy, and people would come and ask him for loans, and he would say, no, I'm not going to give you the loan, no, get out of here. And he was really rude to them because they knew he had a lot of money, but somehow they'd find the money ending up coming to them from different places. And it was and when he got to the end of his life, they realized after he passed away that it was him that had been making all these donations, but he had not wanted to do it from a place of ego. He wanted to actually get his ego destroyed in the process of doing it, so he could give for the most clear place in his soul. Now, let's be clear: we don't care where you give from, give, but in terms of where you get the in terms of getting where you get the emotional reward.
Yes,
comes when you're sharing to share, and that's where the world changes. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. So, Cynthia, one of the things that I recognized when I was reading this, I was learning about Warren Buffett and his philosophy, and we know that he's pledged 40,000 or 40,000. As if that's
like billion?
40 billion thousand. 40 billion to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, because he felt that he had found good custodians for the wealth. They could use a smart entrepreneurial mindset to tackle issues. But one of the things I knew long before, because I had done this big modeling project on the billionaire mindset, and certainly it's not all of them, but he had taken kind of a page out of the Rockefellers' book, and there was a paper that was written called Wealth, and the paper got down to, it's a book. I think they changed the name a little bit or something. I don't know what it is anymore. But the idea that was put across was that with it's kind of like in Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. As with great wealth comes great responsibility, because when we've seen civilizations topple in terms of, when you look at the Roman Empire, or you go back through history, it's when the difference between the haves, and you look at the French, at the time of Marie Antoinette, and the haves and the have-nots gets widely separated. So we see the topple of civilizations that can occur. And so one of their ideas was that the duty that comes with having great wealth is to utilize that to channel back into society in ways that ameliorates the standard of living for all. Now, I could imagine that within a country, but I could imagine that within the world as well. And we were talking about sharing in the space that it comes from, and there's intelligent reasons to share. There's the raising status reasons to share, prestige reasons.
I think most people give because they feel really good.
Yeah, I think that's the best place to come from.
I think most people are, generally speaking, generous. Especially people in the U.S. I mean, we're the biggest givers, and the most money is raised in $50 increments. So the average American, they raise, with the tsunami, they raise more money than the corporations, the foundations, everything combined.
Right. So no, hold on. Let's say that again, because I stepped on that. So with the tsunami,
you were making a joke.
I was trying to make a joke. I always try to make jokes, but there's no joke in this.
That's
so I want to hear that again.
So the tsunami, that's right. So the Americans raised more money, donated more money in $50 increments than all the foundations, the governments, everybody combined.
Yes. Wow.
So it's like a $50, $25. And why? Because people care. And I mean, there's this great book by Stephen Post called Why Good Things Happen to Good People.
Right.
And he talks about, he has this university dedicated to the power of giving.
Right.
And he did like 50 studies in 44 universities about generosity. And overwhelmingly, giving is the most potent force on the planet. So it makes us feel better, it makes us healthier. I mean, there's all of these studies.
And we appreciate what we have more when we give because we feel overflowing, right?
That's
If
right.
we feel like we've got
Right. And when we give, I remember, for example, when I did the Habitat for Humanity thing and I raised all that money, I initially thought, wow, I'm doing such a great thing.
Right.
And I go over there and I meet with the families, and I connected with this woman, Shanda, who she had been saving money working at a biscuit factory, a little bit of money every single week for 18 years to buy the land in the hopes of one day building a house. This is a woman who's committed. And when I went over there and just by, using, asking people to support it, we were able to help her dream come true.
Right.
And again, what I thought I was doing for her, I actually got back tenfold in feeling good and enrolling other people in a mission that was bigger than all of us.
Yeah.
So I was the receiver. That's the beautiful thing about giving.
That's and it feeds your soul. And it was a psychologist by the name of Adler that said, if you, for 30 days, if you're, he said, if anybody that's depressed for 30 days, if you just do one thing for somebody else, for no reason other than sharing and giving, that in every case he saw, that depression would disappear within 30 days.
That's exactly right.
So if you had, like, I love this $1 a day because it makes it seem so simple, but then you go to, 365 days in the year. You have to do the math, but how many people would have to give $365 in total as a pledge to, and how many people would they, how many?
You mean to do all 15
build?
billion?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to get my calculator out.
We need some, actually, Rama's going to do it in the back. So Rama's not only the technician.
Wow. Okay. Woohoo.
Yeah. He's our technical production manager, and he's.
That's a good idea. So $15 billion divided by 365.
Is that what we need?
Well, it's 365. Oh, wait.
So, yeah, because we're assuming
per person
to
do one child. Yes, so it's 365.
And we said that 15 billion gets us what?
Well, it would educate every child on the planet.
On the planet,
for
you're freaking
1
kidding
year.
Me. For 1 year, first year. So it gives us momentum.
42 million people.
How many?
42 million people.
42
million people did $1 a day.
So if 42 million people were to pledge $365, and my purpose here is to just educate and inspire and say. And I do want to take it because this is called the next frontier. So it's like, how is business and life and
that would be 1/7 of the people in the U.S.
That would be 1/7
okay,
of the people in the U.S. So that's more than doable. So 42 million, is that what you said? Yeah, 42 million that gave 365 that would educate everybody to the primary school level, and that gives us momentum to get.
Yeah, because some people might be listening to this and say, well, why do we need to be helping children in Africa? Why do we need to be helping children in developing countries?
Anybody for that matter?
That's right. Well, there's problems here in the U.S., but this is the deal. Uneducated children put everyone at risk. So not only is it a good thing to do for the kids, it's a good thing to do for us, because you see it in the newspaper.
Yes,
uneducated children create or impact pandemics and terrorism, and they're more susceptible and all of that.
Right, which is interesting because I was talking to Michael Beckwith the other day, who I know is a dear friend of yours as well, and the gang, the posse.
Yeah.
So anyway, talking to Michael Beckwith, and we were talking about racism and things like that. But when you look at socioeconomic areas where people live and the concentrations, and when we look at crime, where they come from, oftentimes they come from places, and it's not so much, it has nothing to do with the color of a person's skin. It has more to do with the socioeconomic conditions that person is born into, and the education or lack of education that person has. And so I believe, like you believe, that education is the way to heal the world, ultimately, of everything.
That's
not
right.
Just,
That's right. Well, a lack of awareness, right? So it's ignorance or lack of awareness really is at the root cause of everything.
Right.
So an education is a doorway to help people expand their awareness to create a different life for themselves and for others.
You are so evolved, Cynthia Kersey.
Well, there you have it.
Well, there you have it.
Can I quote you on that?
And so be it. And she said, and on the 8th day she said.
Hey, I feel like I'm the mother of, I'm the mother standing for these children.
You're the mother.
That's all I am.
Well, you're over
I'm the
50 now.
mother,
You
so
could
that's,
be.
Or the grandmother.
No, I'm
I'm
sorry.
the grandmother too.
That was so not nice.
It's true. I take no offense in that. I think it's a privilege, Chris.
So I'm playing my love. I think you're fantastic. I think you're the, but and certainly I've seen the pictures of you with all these children and stuff, and it's rich, it's warm, it's rewarding. It's, I just think it's fantastic what you did. And I remember when I was around and we knew each other and we were, running in the same circles, wearing the same colors when, back there at the time. And you made that decision that you were going to go straight. 100%. You were going to walk away from the personal development world to, as we know it.
That's right.
And you were going to pledge fully to this, to the Unstoppable Foundation. And I thought it was such a neat decision when you made it, but then you look back and here we are, 2015, we're 15 years later, and you see the difference in the impact that you've been able to make. And here 500,000 you've got, and it's probably more than that now. Numbers you surpass. So 500,000 people reached via PR, social media, live streams, webinars.
Yeah, I'm sure it's more than that.
International programs, 6,035 primary.
It's over 7,000 children now.
It's over 7,000.
We've got to update the Unstoppable Foundation website.
Okay, over 7,000 primary school children receiving an education and a daily warm, nutritious meal. Yeah. 62 primary schoolhouses built. Has that increased, or
it's now 70?
It's now 70 primary schoolhouses built. It's just amazing. 2 secondary schools for girls built. Beautiful. 3,012 adults receive income training. There was a beep from some place. You'd think it was from a phone. It's in celebration, of these numbers that you're hitting. It's. And then it says 20,500 people given access to clean water, sanitation, healthcare, and you're reaching people at a level. I've always believed that at some level, education and entrepreneurialism can help to raise the world. When I say entrepreneurialism, it's just because it's for the same reason that you want to train the parents to be able to have jobs so that they could sustain the villages. And the level that I've always thought of working is at that entrepreneurial level, because if you can take, for me, because that's what I do, is I teach and I help people with their businesses and to grow that. And if you can teach them to be self-sufficient and generate jobs and create jobs, you can elevate it. But you realize that, if the person can't even get to primary school, how the heck are you going to do it over here at this level?
That's right.
So you got to, there's, all roads. There was in Hawaiian shamanism, there was above the door of what one would call the dojo or the training hall, in this one particular school where it was kind of the lineage that I was studying at one point, there was a sign that said, "Think not that all wisdom comes from your school." And I love that. It's like there's many different places you have to hit it.
Right.
And
that's right.
You're hitting it in such a key place.
Well, thank you. And I want people to feel like, it's not just me. I mean, I'm doing things, but there are people, if they're inspired by this, they can plug into, we've made it really simple. You can use your birthday. We have a platform where people can literally use their birthday and fundraise. So it's like
you did.
But they don't have to do a big party. It's like an online fundraising platform. It's very simple.
Happy birthday to me.
That's right. Here, if you instead of giving me a gift or taking me out to lunch, donate $1 a day for a year and help educate one child.
I love that.
How great is that?
How beautiful is that? Do you make that simple for people?
It's very simple. Yeah. So they just go to unstoppablefoundation.org. Everything is on there. Or you can have your organization sponsor a village. So, I go in and speak to organizations about the power of giving so they can, I do this with a lot of entrepreneurs where they have these big events and they bring me in to speak about the power of contribution. And what happens is it shifts the energy of the entire event.
Right.
Because people then get an opportunity to practice and to give to this village and they experience their own prosperity, because you can't feel prosperous if you're not giving. If you're holding onto your money for dear life, even if you're a billionaire, you don't feel the abundance in your life.
Oh, I've had, I know one particular guy said, no matter how much money I make, I'm never any happier. And
there you go.
It's because he's equated happiness and money and it's going hand in hand.
That's right.
Happiness is an internal job And the greatest joy you can feel is
When you're giving
sharing,
and contributing
you're
to other people,
contributing
right?
to other people. Yeah.
So we have all sorts of ways, no matter who you are, that you can
Yeah,
plug
there's-
into this and make your own contribution in a way that feels good and authentic to you.
So the best way to do that is to scan the site and go into
Yes,
the skites.
that's right.
Into the skite. So so I'm looking through here. So we said that you can. Did you list out every way? Because
Well, yeah, so
I'd
you can
love to hear a
do
list of
it
every way.
individually. So you can do your own fundraiser. You can do it.
So you go in and you hold a party or something.
No,
and
you don't
raise-
have to do that. You can literally go online and create your own website. It's
Yes.
a fundraising site, and then you send friends the link and say, "It's my birthday." We give you emails to send. We have Facebook posts that you can do. It's like turnkey.
It's turnkey.
It's turnkey.
You made this idiot proof, and I say that for me.
Well, you
'cause I
got to
would have-
make it easy
Yeah, I
because
gotta- yeah, I
people are
think-
busy.
Yeah, I hear.
People
I totally
are
hear
busy,
you.
or you can do it as a group.
We've got to stop.
Okay.
I want to come back and talk about that. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right. So you were sharing. You could raise a party for your birthday, and you've got.
Or have
you
a
made it very
fundraiser. You don't
simple
even have to have a
do.
party.
You go to unstoppablefoundation.org, and you can
That's
set
right.
up the website where people
That's right.
donate.
That's right.
So by the way, if you were looking to have a charitable arm of whatever you do, all you have to do is plug in the right person. It's
right.
it's a self-made model where you get to feel that the philanthropic and feel that philanthropic aspect. And this is why I'm involving myself with you, is because here I've launched businesses before. I've been in various stages of business, and right now I'm back in startup mode, and I've been in startup mode in several other businesses at different times, and this you're already in place doing this, so
Yeah.
it makes it very easy to align
That's
with
right.
you.
That's
And
right.
I don't need my name on the building.
Well, you can
so
still
what-
have your name on it. So
I don't care,
but this is the
but
deal.
yeah.
Because like we have people, the donors, they've sponsored
Yeah.
villages. So we
Okay, so
create
people
a
do
banner.
it for different reasons,
They've
yeah.
got their, they show it with their community. So it's not like your name's on the building, but you can feel ownership
Yes.
of your projects.
Yes.
And it's just, we're the custodian. We're the ones that are helping make them happen. And we
Right.
follow them and administer
And I
them.
think that is
Yeah.
beautiful, because what I was going to say was, when we were in South Africa, I went to the we did that charity event out there. I brought 30 coaches out there, and the CEO of Virgin Mobile came out because it was linked with Richard Branson and the Branson School for Entrepreneurs. CEO of Virgin Mobile came out, and I said that, I noticed that a lot of the, when you look at the Virgin companies, their strategy had changed from emphasizing the antics of Richard, water skiing behind a blimp and stuff
Oh,
like
right,
that,
right.
to a charitable, making a difference in the world through their products and services. And they made a marketing shift in terms of how they were gonna market their businesses. And I said, is that for pure marketing means, or is it really to make a difference? And the CEO of Virgin Mobile, he said, why can't it be both?
Yeah.
Why can't it be both? Sure, you
I
get,
like that.
you
like
get,
that.
and
You know what? It needs to be a win-win.
Right.
For things to really take off, it can't just be one-sided.
Right.
Overall,
Yeah.
as a society. So I think absolutely do people, let me give you an example. You know Bob Proctor, right?
Yes.
Dear friend, he has supported every project I've ever done over the last 15 years.
That's fantastic.
And he is our largest donor.
No kidding.
And he just, oh yeah. Then they
Yay
contribute
to
at
Bob.
a very big level, not for the glory. He could care less about that.
Yeah.
But he just turned 80 this last year.
Happy birthday,
And
Bob
Happy
Proctor.
birthday, Bob Proctor.
Yes.
And I went to his birthday party, of course, did a toast. And he said, there are 5 women in my life, significant women. He said, there's my wife, the president, Sandy Gallagher of the organization, the VP, Gina Hayden, Mary Morrissey, your dear friend of mine, who they've kind of mentored each other. And he said, Cynthia Kersey. And he said, Cynthia always says thank you for what you've contributed to the Unstoppable Foundation. But what she doesn't understand is that we are thanking her. Because of this opportunity to contribute to the Unstoppable Foundation, we're better people, we're a better company, and I believe we're more prosperous as a result of this. So we thank her.
Wow.
Which I think is really powerful.
That's beautiful.
He
That's
gets it.
that's an awareness beyond awareness.
It really is. And so that's my whole point. It's not about me. I'm simply a vehicle that enables people to transform their lives through the power of giving in a way that inspires them.
Yeah, and kind of what I like about it too is that it's not affiliated with any particular domination or denomination
Yeah.
from a religion perspective. And
That's
God
right.
bless everybody that's going out there doing it, whether they're doing it with
That's
a
right.
religious affiliation,
Right.
whether they're doing, God bless them all. But this is a place where you get to come and give for the purpose of elevating the standard of living
That's
of
right.
humanity. And that's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Where do you see, actually, before I ask you that, yeah, I got to ask how else you can do it. You can hold your own party.
So you can have a fundraiser,
can
not
have
a
a
party.
fundraiser.
So you can have your own. You could do a party and raise money that way. But
Yep.
as an individual, you can do it as a group. So if you're an organization, or maybe you're a part of Rotary or whatever, you can
Yes.
get other people to come with you, and it's the same thing. You create a fundraising page, have an event, etc. Or you can bring me in to speak and sponsor a village as a corporation.
So
and there's
you'll go
all
in to
sorts of
help
ways. So
and-
it's
yeah.
like individual, group, or corporation.
Beautiful.
Those are the three ways.
Corporate, okay.
That's right.
Now, where do you see all this going? What's the future of philanthropy? The future of both the Unstoppable Foundation and the future of this wave, this philanthropic wave that we see sweeping around the planet. And there really is where people are social
Absolutely.
entrepreneurialism
That's right.
and all of that. Where do you see
Right.
all this going?
Well, I think that first off, it's a mega trend. When you look at Patricia, she wrote the mega trend book.
Yeah.
This whole thing of conscious capitalism is a
Right.
mega trend,
Right.
and it has been birthed by unconscious capitalism.
Yes.
And the toll that
By the need,
That's
by the-
right. By
yeah.
by what we've done as
pain
as
that we've
corporations
felt.
to inflict on the planet.
Back to your pain to
Right. That's right.
to purpose.
So the vision, look at Bill Gates. He was saying in his lifetime, he sees 80% of the planet lifted out of extreme poverty. He's got some bold
Serious.
statements. So I see a world in which we're using our voice, we're using our business to make a difference. So it's not only are we making money, but we're contributing. And imagine what that does to society when people are coming together, seeing that we are connected. We are. What happens to Malala? She was
Right.
our achievement winner at the gala last year. What happens to a girl in Pakistan impacts me and you here today.
Right.
We're all connected.
Right.
So I just, see a world where we are all working together to uplift humanity, to make a world that works for everyone. And then for the Unstoppable Foundation, we're just continuing to live into this mission. It will outlive me. I see who knows who will hear this message and come forward, who's smarter, who's younger, and really can,
Right, really take it to the next level. even,
all
and
of
the
it to
next
take
level,
it.
and
And
the next
it's
level, yeah.
solvable. It's
Right.
solvable in the next 15 to 20 years. Well, look at the Millennium Development Goals. Their goals was to ensure every child gets access to an education. And now they're moving to the next 10 years. It's solvable in the next decade if everybody realizes that little thing that they can do really can make a difference.
And you see, it reminds me of the concept that Einstein said: the significant problems we face can't be solved at the same level
That's
of
right.
consciousness we were at that created them.
That's right.
So we're really talking about an evolution of consciousness when we talk about conscious capitalism, or whether you want to call it social entrepreneurialism, or whether you want to call it, there were some other words that were interesting that you had in there. But it's, and I hear you, because we do feel pain from that. And, whether you look at the Bernie Madoffs of the world, or you look at the Enrons and the scandals that have caused people pain in their life, and caused the world pain, or the eating up of the natural resources that, this whole, for the first time in conversing with you about it, I do see that this, and you made me see this right now, is through what you just said, is that evolution of consciousness, where it's like it has to evolve.
Yeah.
If it does not evolve, we will pay with pain.
Well, we won't
know?
continue to live, to survive. The earth will still be here, but humanity won't.
And God keeps texting me over there. I thought it was somebody else's phone. It's mine. God said, "Yes, Chris, that was right." So I get a text every time that we
Ding, ding,
hit the
ding,
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 ding. Yes, hello, wake up,
Great
evolve,
point.
awaken.
Yeah.
Right? And so this conscious, so we've got this evolution. I don't know if you saw the other day, there was an article where Bill Gates, somebody just posted on my timeline, the source of all information, Facebook, right? Somebody posted, Bill Gates said that he thought it would be a much simpler world if there was a global government.
Wow,
What a
I did
thought.
not see that. Wow.
What I thought, but then we get Star Wars and
Yeah.
lightsabers and the bad
Yeah.
guys, and we don't
I
want the
don't
Sith,
know.
right? As long
Yeah.
as the Sith aren't involved, those are bad bad people, the Sith, right? I don't know how we'd handle that. But when you think about it, if there was a global government that was helping, and I suppose that's what they attempted to do with the UN, didn't work out,
Right,
not
right.
to the capability that it could, but so that we could be so that we could be working towards solving these types of problems. But I think I see the evolution that you see in terms of this conscious capitalism, this social entrepreneurialism, and it's got to happen from the ground up from individuals. What I see in I see a lot right now. It's interesting because I speak to an audience that oftentimes would be anti-corporation, those types of things. However, because the world's changing with outsourcing and downsizing, and people are wanting to launch businesses that never wanted to launch before, and they're finding their security and going out and launching their own thing. It's kind of the age of brand with people going on and launching their own brands on YouTube and Facebook and stuff. So you see these solopreneurs that are coming out. And in that, all of these people, I see this social entrepreneurial wave that's also sweeping around the planet. And in adopting what you're talking about, when you look at Tom's Shoes, where they give a pair of shoes to somebody else, in adopting what you're talking about, I do see the evolution that you see. I think that's a magical vision that you have.
Well, thank you. And it's not just my vision, it's a lot of people's vision.
Yeah.
And one thing that you're talking about, social entrepreneurism, Carol Cohn did a survey, and it's been continuing to scale.
Right.
But basically asked Americans, all things being equal, would you support an organization that sold a product that was supporting a cause? And you mentioned Tom Shoes and made me think about it. 91% of the people said they would choose like a Tom Shoes or an organization.
95%?
91%.
91%?
So all things being equal, they like the product, they would choose the organization that's giving back. 91%.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Actually, I'm surprised it's not higher than that, because
91?
Yeah, well, no. I mean, that's a very impressive figure. But when we say all things being
equal, right? Well, maybe they love brand. Maybe they have brand loyalty.
Brand
so
loyalty.
there could
Got
be
it.
that piece.
So there's other pieces that we take it out. But it's like, it's an impressive number. Don't get me wrong.
Really
So the thing is that we need it. And quite frankly, it gives a greater meaning to building than just building for yourself.
Totally. Well, look at Tom's Shoes. They started out just doing shoes.
Yeah.
They've now distributed over 10 million shoes. Now they're selling a product where they give sight. So I think it's through, it through water? Water is giving sight. And then they've got coffee. I can't remember which ones, but they've started 2 other products in which they're giving water, clean water, and sight glasses.
Glasses. Oh,
yes.
Beautiful.
So, they're scaling. So people love it. They're very financially successful.
Yes.
And they're making this huge impact.
Yeah, no, I think that's beautiful.
Isn't that
It's and one of the things I noticed in I told you I did this 10-year study of billionaires, and one of the things I noticed, it was never about the money. In most every case, there was always some grander purpose.
Yeah.
And so as we have, if there's solo entrepreneurs or solopreneurs or anybody listening to this that wants to bring more wealth into your own life, what you need is a grander purpose that goes beyond just the creation of the wealth. Because it's not about the money. Usually it's about the lifestyle of the things it can do for you. But when you have a grander purpose to that, what's gonna get you out of bed? If you're feeling pain in your life, like Cynthia referred to earlier, what's it gonna take to cause you to, how many houses do you have to build, or how many schoolhouses do you have to build? And if you think in those same ways, go to the unstoppablefoundation.org and check this out, because it's a great way to do it. It automates the process of being able to give. Any final words you want to leave people with? Because
well, when you were saying that, it reminded me of Sir John Templeton, who's one of the greatest stockbrokers and investors of the 20th century. He's a billionaire, and people asked him, "What is your secret?" Do you know what he said?
What?
Tithing. He said, "I've never known anyone who has given at least 10% of what they've earned where they didn't have it coming back tenfold." And he went on to say, don't wait until you have a lot of money. Start with where you are right now.
Right.
So I just invite everyone.
It's the only way to feel like you've got more than enough.
That's right. If you want more of anything, look at how can you contribute.
Yeah.
And as you contribute, and maybe it's time, maybe it's love, maybe it's lending an ear, maybe it's, a small amount of money, whatever it is, as you contribute, gratitude, you know, you will see it come back to your life tenfold, and then you'll be even more inspired to give as a part of your life and your business and just a way of being.
Yeah, it hits me as you say. It's like sometimes we get all so caught up in our own stories, and this is, you know, nobody's immune to that. Me myself, it's like sometimes I get caught up in myself, and it's that selfishness
That's right.
that causes us to feel a lot of the pain that we do, and hence the greater purpose. And when you can give and get outside yourself, the more you do, the more grateful you feel, and so it does. Literally, it elevates the standard of living for all, including yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it
Which is
starts
really exciting.
right now.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Love you so much.
I
I'm
love
glad
you.
glad to have you here. And
Thank you.
we're gonna say goodbye because it's
Goodbye.
time.
Mwah.
Mwah.
We'll see you on the next episode, and until then, love deeply, shine brightly, make every day an extraordinary adventure.